So what is up, guys? Welcome back to the More Nick Ackerman channel. 20 ways the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 has been a better experience than my iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, there is more than 20, but I'm going to keep it to 20 just for the sake of keeping this video as short as possible. Now, the first one is that the Z Fold 5, while granted it is a little bit heavier when it comes to the spec sheet, it's just easier to hold on the front. Now, a lot of people don't like the narrow display, but there is people that are like, finally there's a phone for me that actually fits in my hand on the front, because most phones are wide behemoths these days, like the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And if you look at that width difference side to side here, this thing is just more easy to hold. Granted though, the iPhone 14 Pro Max definitely feels a little bit thinner because it's not housing two phones essentially in one. So it doesn't feel quite as thick, especially when the Z Fold 5 is folded. But yeah, that's the first one. It's just easier to hold in one hand. The second way is that this phone is just way more productive to me. Here's why. During the day, you got your quick tasks on the front, but then when you open it up inside here, you can go ahead and split screen different applications. You can even bring up to 3 applications within here. So let's go ahead and find one here. We'll bring it right here. And then Samsung is smart enough to know that you might want to flip these around. You can also go ahead and bring in a third application if that's what you so choose to do. So you bring that over there, and then you can also drag that out to the home. Then you can go back over here, and then if you want to take this and you want to pop view this and then go grab something else, let's go ahead and grab something else. How about we'll pop view the settings, and bang, check that out. You just have multiple applications you can do at once here. And with that being said, it just essentially is a much better multitasking experience than the iPhone. And what's funny enough is that even on this smaller front screen of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold, you can also split screen multitask on the front as well. So even though this phone is a lot smaller, Apple's still not giving you a split screen on a phone that's much bigger, the Z Fold 5. Third reason it's better than the iPhone 14 Pro Max in my experience is better for quick day-to-day tasks. It's just easy on the front to pop open an application and just do what you got to do here. Now, you can go ahead and go over here to the Play Store. You can download a quick application, and you could do this all in one hand here for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. Let me go ahead and enable the dark mode. You can go ahead and just do whatever you got to get done right there really quickly. And then if you want to go ahead and do something else, like track a walk on Samsung Health or a bike ride or something like that, you can go ahead and do that as well without opening up the inner display. So throughout the day, for better just regular tasks, it's going to be really easy for quick tasks on the front here. Open up your bank applications, checking a quick verse of the day, going ahead and open up your home application for setting up your lights and stuff, replying to a quick text message, checking the weather really quickly. You can do all of this stuff incredibly simply and easily on this one-handed usage of a front screen here on the Z Fold 5. The next way this is better than the iPhone 14 Pro Max in my experience has been the fast charging. So this phone does have USB-C, which is a big deal for the upcoming 15 Pro Max, but Samsung has had this for years. While it doesn't last as long as the iPhone, it definitely charges faster. I will tell you that, especially when you put it on the right size. It's a super fast charge on here. Not as quick as like a OnePlus or something like that, but pretty good. Higher quality selfies on this phone as well, mostly because you can use that back camera to get your selfies done. So you go in here, you click this button right here, cover screen preview comes on, slide to unlock right there. And then look at this. Let's get this headphone tracking thing out of the way. And then you could see, right, the 2X. It's a little too close, but you get really, really sharp photos because you're using the back camera. Now, the funny thing enough is that these aren't the best cameras on a phone, but they're still better than some of the selfies you're going to get on a front-facing camera phone. So just really high-quality selfies on the Z Fold 5 if you use it in this angle. Now, a lot of people think customization on Android, especially iPhone fans, is just a gimmick, but the truth of the matter is that it makes the phone fun to use sometimes if you got the time to play around with this stuff. Sometimes I just change it seasonally, like for a fall theme or a winter theme or something like that. And while there is ways to customize your iPhone, which was definitely got better over the years since Apple opened it up a little bit more, Not quite, it's nothing quite like the Samsung though. This thing, you could totally change the look when you get bored of the way it looks. And even if you don't use it, it's there. It's just a far more customizable phone. Even the way you can set up widgets and more interactive widgets and things you can put on the screen. There's just so much more you can do with this device than that device. So that's another way it's just better. The next one is this phone is so easy to use when lying down on a bed or on a sofa or placing it up on a table when you're eating your lunch or your dinner or anything, or if you just want to prop it up. The flex mode makes this thing convenient. When you are watching YouTube videos and things of that sort, it's definitely really good here. So let's go to my channel here and we'll see what we're talking about. So if we click that there, we swipe over, we check out a video. You can prop it up like that. And when you're lying in bed, a lot of times you'll have to hold the iPhone, for example, and then it gets weird unless you have a kickstand case, which is a solution to that. But you don't need anything but the Z Fold. And then you could prop it. It has like a multiple different angles. You can even bring it all the way down like that. I don't know why you would. You can bend it like that. Once you get to a certain angle, it starts to, wobble a little bit, so you gotta be careful. But then you can go ahead and click down here to check the comments. Also, when you are taking photos in this flex mode, let's go ahead and check this out. Got it another way. When you are taking photos right here, you're able to see the viewfinder up there, and then you're able to see your gallery down here, which you just took a photo of. So that's pretty cool as well. Another nice touch for the Galaxy Z Fold 5 there. So it's like a little mini tripod of some sort as well. Also, if let's say you're in bed at night and this big inner screen is just too big, and you kind of just want to read something kind of on the front screen, but you don't want to hold it because it's a little bit heavy. You're not trying to hold this thing. You could just kind of lie down, bring it like halfway up like this, and then you have this smaller screen you could play with right here at nighttime too. So I just found that to be a good experience as well. So it's just like infinite ways you can use this thing. And then of course you could stand this phone up too like that if you are taking photos. So there's just a lot of versatility with this product. Whereas with the iPhone, a lot of those things that this can do by itself, you're gonna need a case, a kickstand case, or some way to prop it up. It's just a little bit more convenient, a little bit better to use than the iPhone in that sense. So it's a much better YouTube watching experience as well. When you go ahead and click right here, you'll see just a much bigger display. And I think that if you really crave certain features and you don't want, you can see right there, the iPhone just definitely is smaller. However, the Z Fold, a much larger canvas, and then you go ahead and click right here, you'll be able to see all the comments right there. If I head up out of here, it's going to rotate back to the portrait mode. And then you can read the comments over here, which you can also do on the Z Fold 5. If you want to flip this baby back into the portrait mode, then you could kind of use it like a regular phone like this, yet you still have a bigger YouTube experience. Then on the front, it'll like transition back over here if you're watching a YouTube video, and now something you're a little bit more used to like that. So the Galaxy Z Fold, a better content watching experience, hands down, over the iPhone. Also, it has a more vivid screen, especially if you go in the settings, scroll down the display, and you go to the screen modes and you click vivid. It's definitely a more vivid, saturated experience, which is really good for content because it just makes the images and the videos just pop. This phone is also faster to unlock, which is why it's a better experience. You don't even need to, you could just bypass the lock screen with the face like that, but I don't have it on where it automatically detects because it would automatically accidentally press on the fingerprint, but you could turn that on if you want it quicker. But overall, it's just a faster and more enjoyable unlocking phone. I do like the convenience factor of Face ID though. It's still really great to use that for making payments and using it for security purposes and banking applications and things like that. But the hardware-based fingerprint sensor works well on the Z Fold 5 as well. The S Pen, there's no contest. You don't have S Pen support on the front of the Z Fold 5, but when you open it up into the tablet mode on the inside, you definitely do. And this definitely makes the whole phone just a better experience than the iPhone because you can use this to take notes. This is like having a little mini iPad and a phone in one. It's not quite an iPad because it's a Samsung phone, but truly some of the applications in here and kind of the experience on the inside is truly like a Samsung tablet. And then it's like a Samsung phone on the folded mode. There was actually a couple of applications I've already tried that actually said couldn't support the tablet, Android tablet. So Samsung has set the inner display up as a tablet, whereas at the outside display, it's more like a phone. And what I like about that a lot is that the front screen really gives you a different setup. You can have different apps and stuff, and then when you open it up, your experience on the inside can be different as well. It's really pretty neat and it really can replace two products in one. The next one is a higher trade-in value if you stick with Samsung. What do I mean? Well, iPhone is going to give you a better resale value, aka if you were to sell it yourself. Not right now because Z Fold 5 just came out, but as Z Fold 5 ages, they don't really hold their value as well as an iPhone does. However, keep in mind, a trade-in value on an iPhone 14 Pro Max will not hit the $1,000 trade-in value you'll get on this phone if you stick with the folding devices. So this should give you a $1,000 trade-in next year as well. If you trade it in for a Z Flip 6 or a Z Fold 6 or whatever they're going to call the next versions, this is going to net you a bigger trade-in. So that's a way it is better. The next one is longer zoom, although this is not going to be an advantage for too long as the new iPhone does come out and should match this phone right here. This is what I think it's actually going to hit. I think it's going to hit about 30 to 50 times zoom on the 15 Pro Max. But there should be a 6x optical, so it will definitely beat the Z Fold 5. Even the 14 Pro Max, I think, takes better photos than this phone. But this phone does have much longer zoom, so that's just an experience that I enjoy more than I do on my iPhone 14 Pro Max, although that advantage is going to be very short-lived here in just a couple of weeks. One of the advantages you probably weren't expecting, though, is that the Z Fold 5 actually has much better, well, not much better, but better performance than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Believe it or not, they might win in Geekbench results. But in reality, the Z Fold 5 has better sustained gaming performance, and it's going to be a better gaming experience on the inner display because you can game on a massive tablet inner display. So definitely this is the way to go. If you want to do some gaming, if you want to do some really good iOS gaming, this is the way to go. This is an excellent gaming machine as well, as it's very fast and efficient. But I got to tell you, man, for gaming, I probably would pick the Z Fold 5 every day of the week because gaming, the screen size matters with gaming. Why do you think consoles are so impressive? Why do you think they make those like little laptops that connect to or those screens that connect to your console? People want a decent sized display when it comes to gaming for sure. The next one is a hands down better browsing experience, and there really is no contest here. Samsung does have the ability to let you see the tabs too in a way that you could see kind of like on a desktop. So you can go ahead and turn this on here in settings. I hit the wrong button. You go here to show tab bar, hit always, and it'll show you basically tabs like you would see on a laptop. In addition to that, there's a built-in dark mode that comes on there, and then you can just click the tabs over there like that. But this is truly like a laptop experience, whereas the iPhone is just a mobile browsing experience. And while that isn't bad per se, that it's like that, let's go over here. And so the iPhone is more like just a mobile experience. And while that isn't bad per se, the Samsung just takes us to the next level when it comes to web browsing. The next one is the under display camera on the inside. I'm not saying it's a good camera. What I'm saying is that you barely see it. You barely notice it. An uninterrupted display experience, essentially. Not fully. Some people will notice it, and picky people will definitely be able to pick it out. Be like, hey, I still see that thing. Get that thing out of there, Samsung. But at the same time, it's much better than this big old dynamic island on the iPhone. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the usability of the dynamic island, and I'm not picking on Apple for doing that. They do always do something like this to let you know you're using an iPhone. It's a status brand, we get it. But let me tell you the truth here. As an owner and a purchaser of both of these phones that I pay my own hard-earned money with, I gotta tell you, I'm still digging the Z Fold 5's punch hole camera on the front and under display camera on the inside. I would like to see no punch hole on any screen of any sort. I would like to see all screens on both, but we're not quite there yet. So for now, I still think the Z Fold 5's display experience is far less interrupted than the iPhones. And while these phones both have 5G, they both have, pretty fast overall everything, there's no contest when it comes to this one feature right here, and it's called Samsung DeX. Now, DeX can connect wirelessly to any TV monitor that has the ability to do wireless compatibility. And that's basically most TVs these days. Most monitors these days can do this. You don't even need a USB-C cable anymore. That's how advanced DeX has become. And it turns it into a computer. All you need to do is your finger and you use the phone as a trackpad. This is definitely better than the iPhones just mirroring to a TV, which is just your phone up there. This turns it into a little computer. It's a little bit of a different experience for sure. While both these phones do have always on display, the Z Fold 5 is better here as well because it's more customizable. They give you different clock styles that you can customize with your always on display, which is pretty cool. And then you can change the colors and stuff like that. I like that. I mean, it's just cool that you can customize that feature. Apple's is a little bit more simple, which is nice. And if you don't even want to touch Samsung stuff, it's fine. You don't have to. Just leave it on by default. And it'll look just like a basic always on display. But it's just a little more customizable here for the Samsung device. My next reason this phone has been better is it's just more unique and fun to use. Mostly because of the culmination of most of the features I talked about in this video. This device is just fun. It feels like, you remember back in the day when a lot of phone manufacturers were trying different things like Sidekicks, Blackberries. I don't know if you were into the phones back then when the first iPhones were coming out, when everything was just kind of a new feeling. If you haven't tried the folding device in this little iterations that they've been out for the past 5 generations, if you've tried them, it doesn't feel super new. But if you haven't tried them, this is still an exciting product category. And I do think having the flipping phones, the Google Pixel Fold, maybe a future iPhone flipping or fold, this is an exciting category and it's just more fun to use than the iPhone right now, if I'm being totally honest with you. It doesn't mean it's a better experience for everybody, but it's definitely fun. This is also a way better maps experience. You cannot tell me that you can compete with this. You can't. Not on the iPhone. You have a good GPS system. You have Apple Maps, and if you're in the Apple Maps, that's great. But I'm saying in terms of the screen size, if you have a car, for example, that does not have an upgraded GPS, you can get some accessories to use your Z Fold as a GPS device. And let me tell you, man, you're going to have one beautiful experience here with this bad boy. Also, if you click this, you can hide this dock away. Just click on one area right there. And look at this, an expansive GPS navigator. This thing is amazing right here. And lastly, this one's a little bit petty, but at the same time, SIM card tray. Yeah, we still got it. We don't have expandable memory, which is lame because Samsung was the king of giving us expandable memory. They're not playing with that no more. But at the same time, SIM card tray is still available with eSIM support as well if you need it. And so those are my 20 ways that I found this phone to be better than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The majority of this video was mostly focused on the Z Fold 5 because we're talking about why it's better. There are a lot of ways where the iPhone still stands head and shoulders above any Android device though. So if you want to see how I think this phone has been a better experience than the Z Fold 5, let me know down in the comments, or if you want to just wait until you can see what I think about the 15 Pro Max by comparison, let me know that as well. And I'll catch you all in the very next episode. Thank you for tuning into this More Nick Ackerman channel. We'll be posting more different videos, conversational pieces, and different phones that we don't always talk about and topics that we don't talk about on the main channel here. So be subscribed for that. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here, and peace.